Hi, this is Stan. Welcome back. Well, this is Dave Dubel. We're over at the Vortex. We're coffeeed up and we're ready to finish our little mini-series on these fabulous BMW M1 Procars. So stay tuned. Don't go away. All right, we're back here at the Vortex, and look at this. We got all four liveries of these BMW M1 Procars. Last time, Dave was just finishing up the number 6 car, and so we're going to take a look at that today because we promised you some details as to how it was completed and made race ready. And so, Dave, let's start with this guy. Kind of explain what's going on. I see you got it all wired up. We've got some float in the pod. Can you see that wiggling? And we also have a little bit of body float. So why don't you explain?
Okay, in the previous video we assembled the chassis and body. So in the meantime I got the proper screws for mounting the body and we're ready to go.
Let's just repeat what you went through. In other words, the body screws have a unthreaded shaft up near the head. Correct. So that you get a little bit of float. Yes. And why do you not want the body tight to the chassis? Why on these do you want a little bit of wiggle?
Well, plastic warps, and sometimes the bodies where the contact patch of the 4 body posts hit the chassis may not all be equal. So if you're pulling the chassis, which is a nicely made 3D printed chassis, you've spent the money for a nice flat chassis, and now you pull it up against a body that may be a little bit warped, that's not going to help you. Not only that, but having the body floating on top of this will help the handling a little bit. It's just good all the way around.
And then there's a little bit of a twist, even more in the actual motor pod. So actually the car feels kind of loose.
They're very loose. Not in the sense of it oversteering, but in the sense of the chassis and body contact point.
Okay, and there's a little spring back in the guide. So how tight do you want those guides on there?
Well, you want it just snug. You want it to be able to rotate freely, but you don't want it loose and flopping around. One of the things about having I want to say a solid guide like this, where the post is mounted tightly into the hole in the chassis.
Yeah, it's screwed in there, remember, from our previous video.
The big problem is you want it to stay vertical when you're going into the corners. If you go into the corners and hit the limit, if it pushes side to side, the car is going to slip out of the slot. So we just want
nice and tight this way. Okay.
Yeah, as little wiggle as we can get.
No, you kind of hinted at the setup. Let me put this on blue lane because I think the blue lane is the clean one, right?
Yeah, it's cleaned up this morning and may need to be cleaned again.
So, well, there's a little play on the lane here because the groove is 1/8 inch or greater. So you talked about using the spacers on the guide last time and you put it on the plate, but how do you feel it works on the track?
Well, I have run the car already and it works really well.
Well, let's take it for a little spin. I'll back the camera off.
Okay. Let's get the other cars out of here.
Yeah.
So we're ready to go. As you can see, there's a little bit of oversteer in the S's. Track's not completely clean, but
yeah, we got the garage door open, so we got all kinds of
pollen,
dust and pollen and everything coming in.
Floating around here. But I mean, that's going to be our race conditions on Black Friday because the track stuff is so big that we have to keep the door open, and part of it is outdoor racing.
That's right. By the way, we're going to see all these running together because I'm going to get some footage. Our race is coming up in a couple of days at the time of this taping for our annual Black Friday race. It's an all-day into the evening race here for the Arizona Garage Racers. A blast, and the track will go all the way out on the driveway. It'll be the long version of the Vortex track here, so it'll be exciting and you'll see some great footage. Now, how would you describe the handling on this? It doesn't look too torquey. It seems pretty tame, actually. The car's giving you some indication that it wants to swing out before it actually leaves the slots. So.
the handling is pretty good. It's not a very heavy car. I've got them weighted in the low 70s. Actually, it's 72 grams each.
Well, Dave, what an awesome job you did on these cars. This is going to be really exciting for us to race these, and we're going to get some great footage. The liveries look fantastic, and I appreciate the extra time and effort that you put in because a bunch of guys are going to get to race these, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Look at that murderous solo. I like the
Well, Dave, that was an awesome race. Black Friday, this is our annual tradition. We got the huge big track set up. These were fantastic, very controlled. I want to know what you thought of it after seeing them on the track.
I was very happy, not only with my assessment of how it went, but all of the racers, all the guys that we've run these things with for a long, long time, were pretty happy with it, including some guys that are pros.
They were smooth.
I'd say they were successful, and again, I want to thank Jim Rose for making me a great deal. We went through a 13-heat race. We had the top two guys finish within just a couple feet of each other. Everything went very smoothly, and I think the best part of this is all four of the cars still have the wings intact, and so I'm a very happy guy.
All the snappy, breaky-offy parts are still on there.
Yeah, there's a couple of missing mirrors, but that's no big deal. They always go off.
Well, Dave, what an awesome mini-series this was, and here's the proof. You get to see them in action, and they are very controllable. They're not overpowered. They're just a barrel of fun to race. If you're really experienced, or we had some relatively new guys racing with us, and it was the same for everybody. So
I think it was, yeah.
thank you so much.
Sure.
Well, that's going to wrap it up this time. Hope to see you guys right here next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks.